So yesterday we spoke about Gwamanda, the former executive mayor of Johannesburg, who was recently arrested for allegedly scamming the people of Johannesburg with the funeral policy Ponzi scheme. So before we actually get to today's purpose of the video, I know that some people were enjoying their weekends and they are only coming back now only to see the former executive mayor of Johannesburg, Gwamanda, all over the news. And people are asking themselves questions: why is this guy suddenly all over the news? Why is everybody suddenly talking about the former executive mayor of Johannesburg, Gwamanda? So yesterday, when we did the video, we actually went through an article, and I thought it was very important, and I still think that it is very important for us to actually listen to that piece to properly understand what led to the arrest of the former executive mayor of Johannesburg, Gwamanda, especially to the people who actually missed this story when it broke out yesterday. So guys, this is what actually led to the arrest of the former executive mayor of Johannesburg, Gwamanda. Gwamanda, the former Johannesburg mayor and Jama-ah councillor, has been arrested in connection with an alleged funeral policy scam that he allegedly ran from 2011 through his company Mashaba. It is alleged that the former mayor scammed innocent Soweto residents into the scheme where they paid monthly payments for funeral insurance. He operated the business from 2011 and then allegedly ran away when the policyholders tried to hold him accountable. He operated the business from 2011 and then allegedly ran away when the policyholders tried to claim from the scheme. Gwamanda is currently a member of the mayoral committee, the MMC, for community development in Johannesburg. He was appointed to the position in August after he was removed as the Johannesburg mayor after a year in office. Gwamanda was arrested after one of his alleged victims opened a case with Portland Police. In July 2023, the Financial Sector Conduct Authority, the FSCA, confirmed that it was investigating complaints received about Africa and Gwamanda. The FSCA said the investigation is currently ongoing, and as such, no further details can be shared. The FSCA continues to say the purpose of the investigation is to establish whether such contravention occurred. Once the investigation is concluded, the authority will inform the public of the outcome of the matter. Close quote. The victim who opened the case against Gwamanda in January told the police that she took out a policy with Africa, but when she came to report a death and claim for her funeral policy money, she discovered to her horror that the offices had moved. The police report says she did her own investigations and found other victims. She was told that the two directors had committed suicide after failing to pay back the money to the investors. She did her own investigation and found that other victims. She was told that the two directors had committed suicide after failing to pay back the money to the investors. The police report said that investors were under the impression that both directors had died, only to see one suspect appearing on television as the mayor of Johannesburg. Police then issued a warrant of arrest for Gwamanda in May 2024, but he was out of the country. Police were forced to trace Gwamanda after he failed to meet the investigators when he was back in the country. He finally handed himself over to the police on Friday. So guys, that is the backstory. This is what actually happened, and this is what actually led to the arrest of the former executive mayor of Johannesburg, Gwamanda. And it is quite surprising because it took these people like 5 months before the guy was actually arrested. It took 5 months before the guy handed himself over to the police. I remember yesterday I was watching an interview of Dr. Mpopalazi, and he said that it actually shows that there is a hand that is happening here. There is a hand, because there is no way that the warrant of arrest can be issued out in May, and the guy is only presenting himself to the authorities in November, then clearly there's some politicians that are pulling out strings behind Gwamanda. There are people that are literally trying to protect Gwamanda. So yesterday, the Democratic Alliance actually released a statement saying that it is long overdue. This guy is a criminal. We have been warning the people of this country about Gwamanda because we know that there were investigations on top of this person's head. So Herman Mashaba, the leader of Action SA, went out to say that no, the Democratic Alliance, it is the last political party to actually celebrate Gwamanda going to jail, because the Democratic Alliance, it is a political party that is responsible for the people of Johannesburg having a mayor like Gwamanda. So I found that to be very interesting. So I went to the website of Jama-ah, and you can see that here, especially where they talk about Gwamanda, it says that Councillor Gwamanda won the electoral seat in 2023 after winning the elections bid against the DA's Dr. Mpopalazi and Action SA's Funzing Goben. Out of 266 votes cast, he received 139 votes of confidence against Palazi's 68 and Gubenin's 59. Gwamanda had the backing of ANC, EFF, and the other minority parties, replacing the former mayor Thapelo Ahmad, also from Jama-ah. So one would actually ask themselves, how were the seats actually allocated in the Council of Johannesburg when Gwamanda was actually elected as the executive mayor of Johannesburg? So right now, you know that Action SA says, no, the DA is the one that is responsible for Gwamanda being the mayor of Johannesburg. And the DA says, no, we are not responsible for this guy being the mayor of Johannesburg. We have been against this guy ever since his name came up. We knew that this guy is a thug that was being investigated all over the place. So if you look at the seats, I'm only going to look at three political parties that are mentioned, the ANC, EFF, and Jama-ah. If you look at the seats allocation when Gwamanda was still a mayor in Johannesburg, you can see that ANC had 91 seats, the EFF had 29 seats, Jama-ah had 3 seats, and if you count these three political parties' seats alone, already they have 123 seats. 123 seats. So we can say that, okay, it is politics. Patriotic Alliance refused to work with who? The DA refused to work with Patriotic Alliance. But at the end of the day, it was just politics. But we are going to look at the numbers. And the numbers are the ones that are going to tell us who is actually responsible for what actually turned out in Johannesburg and why Gwamanda is all over the place. So yesterday, when Gwamanda was arrested, the DA actually went back to this post that they made when Gwamanda was elected as the mayor of Johannesburg. You can see that it says that the people of Johannesburg deserve a mayor they can trust, not a swindler or a scammer. Statement by the DA caucus leader, Dr. Mpopalazi. It was issued on Saturday, the 6th of May, 2023. It says that on the 5th of May 2023, Gwamanda was sworn in as the executive mayor of Johannesburg municipality. Publicly and in full view of the live television and radio broadcast by several media houses, Gwamanda swore that he will, quote, will be faithful to the Republic of South Africa and obey, respect and uphold the Constitution and all laws of the Republic. It is, however, concerning that there has since been damning information circulating about Gwamanda, which cast aspersions on whether he could be trusted with such responsibilities, including overseeing more than 70 billion budget of the city of Johannesburg. Guys, this is something that was said by the DA in 2023, that this guy, he has been investigated for financial crimes, and you guys went ahead and made him the mayor of Johannesburg. How can you trust a guy who has been investigated for financial crimes to now be the mayor of Johannesburg? The statement continues. The allegations circulating on social media suggest that our newly elected executive mayor may have flaunted the financial laws of this country, swindled and scammed the members of the public. It is alleged that Gwamanda, through his entity Ithambalama Africa, scammed innocent residents into investing in a funeral policy Ponzi scheme. However, the investors were left hanging dry when it was time to claim their benefits. It would be a tragedy for the 6 million citizens of Johannesburg to be subjected to such questionable and dubious leadership. It would be a tragedy for the 6 million citizens of Johannesburg to be subjected to such questionable and dubious leadership. It is for these reasons that the Democratic Alliance in Johannesburg will be bringing these allegations to the attention of the South African Police Service for further investigation along with the victims of this crime. The DA believes that the mayor deserves an opportunity to clear his name if he is to be trusted by the public. Hence, we suggest that the executive mayor must, in less than 48 hours, take the public into his confidence by holding a public media briefing to provide the clarity and assure the public that he will not interfere with this investigation. I mean, like, the guy was the mayor of Johannesburg. There is no way that he was not going to interfere with this investigation that was haunting him. The people of Johannesburg deserve a mayor they can trust. They need reassurance that Councillor Gwamanda will live true to the letter and spirit of the oath that he signed and swore publicly. So this is the statement that the DA made when Gwamanda became the executive mayor of Johannesburg. You can see even the poster that they made here. It says that, is the mayor a scammer? It is alleged that the executive mayor Gwamanda, through his entity Ithambalama Africa, scammed innocent residents into investing in a funeral policy Ponzi scheme. I call it a Ponzi scheme. So yesterday, when the news broke out that Gwamanda has been arrested for the same allegations that the DA was talking about, this is the DA again saying that the former Johannesburg mayor Gwamanda arrest exposes the ANC's failure to provide ethical leadership that we warned about. The former Johannesburg mayor Gwamanda's arrest exposes the ANC failure to provide the ethical leadership that we warned about. Then Herman Mashaba, the leader of Action SA, responded to this post of the Democratic Alliance. Herman Mashaba says that the Democratic Alliance, it is the last political party to comment on this matter. They gave Gwamanda as the mayor to the residents of Johannesburg. Action SA, IFP and Freedom Farm Plus managed to get the support of the Patriotic Alliance to protect Dr. Mpopalazi, and the DA refused the inclusion of Patriotic Alliance and opted to have Gwamanda as the mayor. Lies have short legs. So this is actually what sparked the debate yesterday. This post of Herman Mashaba to say, no, you guys refuse to work with Patriotic Alliance. You refuse to protect Dr. Mpopalazi. And for the result, the people of Johannesburg were actually subjected to Gwamanda as the mayor of Johannesburg. But the truth of the matter is that if you go back to the votes that were actually counted, Gwamanda had the backing of the ANC, EFF, and other minority parties. 91, 23, and 3, 123 votes, only on 3 political parties, not even talking about other minority parties, because other minority parties were coming with like 1 seat, 2 seats. But ANC and the EFF are the ones that are actually responsible for Gwamanda being the executive mayor of Johannesburg. That is the truth. This is how the votes were actually calculated. So yesterday, the DA's caucus in Johannesburg, they actually went to television to do an interview after Herman Mashaba has actually accused them of being the ones to deliver Gwamanda as the executive mayor of Johannesburg. This is what the DA had to say about the words of Herman Mashaba.
You're watching News at Prime. Let's speak now to the Democratic Alliance Johannesburg caucus leader, Belinda Kezia Echiozo Njoku, about her party's response to Action SA leader Herman Mashaba, who has accused the party of playing a part in giving Gwamanda to the residents of Johannesburg. Belinda, good evening to you, and thank you for your time. Let's start exactly there, because Action SA leader Herman Mashaba says you are the last party to be giving commentary on Gwamanda when you effectively gave him to the people of Johannesburg in the first place. How do you respond?
Good evening, Polly, and good evening to the viewers. Firstly, let me start by saying that Gwamanda did not succeed the DA mayor, first of all. So it's impossible for the Democratic Alliance to have given the mayorship to Gwamanda to the people of Johannesburg. And secondly, I would like to say that the Democratic Alliance also did not vote for Gwamanda as mayor of the city of Johannesburg. If you could recall, Dr. Palatse was ousted because the Patriotic Alliance voted with the ANC to install Gwamanda. So it's impossible that the DA could have given Gwamanda to the residents of Johannesburg.
Yeah. Let's talk about the arrest of the MMC for community development, because that's his current position right now.
And again, it is so funny how it is so funny how the ANC, it is the one that is responsible for actually these people being in the offices, but the political parties that are fighting are parties that basically the ANC is the one that actually brought this guy to the people of Johannesburg. It is the one. Just like right now, people may say that, okay, Herman Mashaba and Action SA are the ones that actually have turned things around in the city of Tshwane. But the truth of the matter is that if you look at the seat allocations, you can see that the ANC and the EFF had a huge impact in how things turned around in the city of Tshwane. They had a huge impact in how things turned around in the city of Tshwane. So just like in Johannesburg, the ANC and the EFF are the ones that actually determined who becomes the mayor in the city of Tshwane. Just like in Johannesburg, there's the same thing, it is happening in the city of Tshwane. And now the people are saying that, Herman Mashaba, do you see a pattern here? The ANC, when it comes to the mayors, they may not elect one of their own. They may not say, okay, we want an ANC guy to be a mayor. They will take a mayor from a minority party and they will commit all the crimes, knowing very well that you can't say anything about it. You can't do anything about it, because after all, we are the ones that actually ensured that you are in this office. So this is what people were saying to Herman Mashaba yesterday, that do you see a pattern that is happening right here? The ANC took a guy, Gwamanda, from a political party that had 3 seats and made that guy a mayor of the whole city of Johannesburg. And what did they do after that? They committed crimes. And now the ANC in the city of Tshwane, they took Action SA, a party with only 19 seats. They made Action SA, they made an Action SA make one of their own to be the mayor of the city of Tshwane. And after making Action SA one of Action SA's persons to be the mayor of the city of Tshwane, they make an ANC person to be the one that is responsible for the finance. And do you see what is happening in the city of Tshwane? After the ANC has took the portfolios of finance, the same person who is responsible for finance is now the deputy mayor. It's not the deputy mayor. So do you see the pattern that is happening here? This is the question that many people are actually asking him, Mashaba, that there is a pattern here. There is a pattern, whether you like to see it or not, but there is a pattern here. Because right now, in the city of Tshwane, the ANC is in charge. They are in charge of finance, and the same guy that is in charge of finance is the deputy mayor. So the same guy is going to overlook and to see what the Action SA mayor is doing. He's the one that is going to say, no, we cannot do that because we don't have enough money, but we have enough money to issue out these tenders. This is what is happening. So people were actually warning him in Mashaba about the pattern that is happening from Johannesburg straight to Tshwane.
Do you share the view, though, still by Action SA, that he should not be in council while going through this court case?
First of all, we would like to say the DA is vindicated, Polly. If you recall, this allegations surfaced when the former DA caucus leader, Dr. Palatse, raised the alarm, and she was accused by both the ANC and other parties in council that it was gossip. The DA is just gossiping. And we obviously, because we had raised it as the DA previously, we are still of the view that he should not be in that position, firstly. And we are writing to the executive mayor to also, fraud is a serious allegation, and that's where the starting point is for us. As he had been executive mayor for more than a year after after Tapelo Ahmad has resigned, we want to also get the mayor to investigate what kind of agreements and possible where he put his signature on anything that has to do with documentation or agreements on behalf of the city. As you know, being the executive mayor, a lot of times you gotta sit and have agreements with people. There's MOUs, exactly how much damage he possibly could have caused, and have the mayor, everything that he's been involved in should be investigated, including now with him as the MMC of community development, any of those type of things. We will be writing, as we had said in our statement, to the executive mayor, but we will also be writing to the Speaker of Council to ask that he be referred to ethics, because we believe he should step aside until his name is cleared or until he is found guilty, because it's a serious breach of public trust.
The warrant for his arrest on fraud charges was reportedly issued back in May of this year. Do you have reason to believe that the current mayor, or at least the authorities in Johannesburg, could have reasonably been aware of this, which possibly would have prevented Mr. Gwamanda from being appointed in this current council?
Of course, man, of course. Of course, everybody knew. Of course, everybody knew. I don't think that you can be investigated by the FSCA. I don't think the warrant of arrest can actually be issued out, and the mayor can actually come out to say that, no, I didn't know anything about this. Of course he knew. Of course he knew. And listening to these people, man, it's almost as if they were listening to me yesterday. It's almost as if they were listening to me yesterday, because I said the same things that this woman is saying. I said, guys, please go back to the office and look at everything that Kabelo Gwamanda has put his signature to. Look at everything that this guy did. This guy has been investigated for financial crimes, and the same person became the executive mayor of Johannesburg. Then clearly this person is not to be trusted, especially when it comes to the finances. And right now the DA is saying the same things. I mean, even with Xoli, you can see that he's saying that, okay, clearly the current mayor must have known. The current mayor must have known about this warrant of arrest. There is no way. Of course, he's going to put it in a question. He's going to put it in a form of a question. But this is exactly what he's insinuating, that the executive mayor knew about this warrant of arrest for this person. But still, the executive mayor of Johannesburg, Dada Morero of the ANC, he still went ahead and appointed Kabelo Gwamanda to be the MMC for community development.
We believe that Kabelo Gwamanda was a puppet mayor for the ANC. And I wouldn't be surprised as the DA if this was used as a bargaining chip for him to toe the line, to do what the ANC wants in council. So it could just as well have been used as a bargaining tool, that they keep quiet and he remains as mayor, or it could have been used for them to get what they want. It's very concerning for us that it took 5 months for this to come to light. And there is no way that the ANC can tell the residents of Johannesburg they were not aware. I'm sure that by the time the story broke in May of 2023, they would have also been had some of their community members in these different wards where these allegations came from, who could have raised these issues. So they undoubtedly, I'm sure, were aware of it, but they were shielding him, protected him, because they possibly used it. I wouldn't be surprised if they used it as a bargaining chip for him to do exactly what he's told, since he was a puppet mayor for them.
Finally, Belinda, these charges were precipitated by Dr. Mpho Phalatse, who was here just moments ago. He's now a former member. Are you, the Democratic Alliance, the people who are now effectively going to be championing this in court? And if so, what is your call to potential victims out there?
Well, previously, the victims have approached the Democratic Alliance. So we call again, once again, we call on them to not be shy to come forward. And already, obviously, these victims have have opened these cases against the former mayor, Kabelo Gwamanda. So we have championed it as the DA because Dr. Phalatse was the DA caucus leader, and we will continue to do so if anybody comes forward. Obviously, this is a case that is between the victims and the current MMC of Community Development. We'll be watching closely, but in the meantime, we will obviously be writing to not ethics, but to the Speaker and also to the Executive Mayor. But we call on all the victims to please come forward if there are more, and we are more than willing to listen and highlight their plight as well.
Just briefly, how much money do you believe could have been involved here? Are you aware?
Unfortunately, I'm not aware of how much money has been involved, but it couldn't have been a small amount. You know that with issues like funeral policies and societies, the most vulnerable are relying on these kind of, initiatives to be able to bury their loved ones. So it can't be a small amount that people would have contributed. It must be a big amount. And that is why we have the amount of anger that we have, that the vulnerable are being treated in this manner. And we believe that the law must take its course. And if indeed Kabelo Gwamanda is found guilty, that he must face the full might of the law.
Belinda Kaiser.
Like, it has to be a lot of money, man. It has to be, because if you think about it, this scam was actually ran for a long time. It was ran for a very long time. It was ran for a very long time, from 2011. From 2011, this scam was ran. So you can just imagine the people that were putting in their money monthly for over 10 years straight. Can you just imagine how much money is that? And the fact that this guy, the people were so quick to say that this is the same guy who ran away with our money. This is the same guy who ran away with our money. So I actually want to see, there's a small video that I saw yesterday. It was an Jama-ah leader actually reacting to the news of Kabelo Gwamanda. I just want you guys to see how these people actually reacted when they're being questioned about a member of their own political party being involved in corruption. This is how the leader of Jama-ah actually responded.
Another note, I want you to wear a different hat now as a leader of your party, Jama-ah.
No, I'm not wearing any different hats. I'm only coming here as Deputy Minister.
Yeah, but I need to
don't
ask
let me
you.
wear different hats.
But
no,
you
can ask me in another program.
But I want to ask you.
Another program.
But I have you on air now. I want to ask you about Kabelo Gwamanda.
No. You mustn't do ambush interviewing.
I'm not ambushing.
About 100 days.
Deputy Minister.
Talk to me when you want to speak.
So this guy is a deputy minister in the government of national unity, the leader of Jama-ah. He cannot even take one question about Kabelo Gwamanda, his very own. His very own. I mean, like, why is he so hostile?
Another note, I want you to wear a different hat now as a leader of your party, Jama-ah.
No, I'm not wearing any different hats. I'm only coming here as Deputy Minister.
Yeah, but I
Please
need to
don't
ask
let me
you.
wear different hats.
But I
No, you
want
can ask me in another program.
But I
You
want
can
to
ask
ask
me in
you.
another program.
But I have you on air now. I want to ask you about Kabelo Gwamanda's
No,
arrest.
you mustn't do ambush interviewing.
I'm
You
not
have
ambushing.
asked
I'm
me
not
to speak
ambushing.
about 100 days.
Deputy
Don't
Minister.
talk to me. When you want to speak to me as president, you contact my office and we'll have an interview. I'm speaking now as the Deputy Minister of Social Development. Don't
Thank you
ask
very
me about
much.
party matters now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's Hanif Hendrik, Social Development Minister, Deputy Minister, refusing to answer a question there about Kabelo Gwamanda. I mean, the other ministers, I wanted to tell him that, but he's saying, no, don't ask me about this. Talk to my national office. If you want to talk about that, we're not going to get anywhere with that, Masiho. All other GNU ministers and deputies have come on board. We've asked them about other matters in the end. DA and ANC, and they've had no problems. But Mr. Hanif Hendricks has a problem.
Good news, he would have been happy to answer.
Sorry?
I'm pretty sure if it was good news about Jama-ah or a member of Jama-ah, he would have been more than happy to answer.
Yeah.
So the Deputy Minister of Social Development is the leader of Jama-ah. This is what he had to say when he was asked about Jama-ah. So this is a fight that is still continuing, guys, on the internet. This is the fight between Herman Mashaba and Action and the Democratic Alliance. Herman Mashaba trying to pin everything on the Democratic Alliance and to make it look like, no, the ANC is innocent. Like, it is so funny how Herman Mashaba, the same person who was criticizing the ANC left, right, and center, now he's even willing to put his head on the block to defend the ANC. I mean, the DA didn't say anything about Action SA. The DA only said that this actually exposes the ANC and how the ANC always gives the people these pathetic leaders. But Herman Mashaba said, no, as much as this thing has nothing to do with Action SA, as much as Action SA was not mentioned even one bit in this post, I am going to make it about Action SA and the Democratic Alliance. It is very disappointing. It is very disappointing. So, I don't know, guys, man. What do you think? What do you think about this story, this developing story? And before I actually go, I actually wanted to close this video, but no. Let me not close this video just yet. I want to see another video. I want to show you another video. I want to show you another video where Kabelo Gwamanda was actually playing the victim. Let me see if I can find that video fast on my, so that I can get it on the computer. So Kabelo Gwamanda says that, no, you guys are just arresting me because I'm a black man. You know, in South Africa, this is how things are. If you are a black man, they are going to treat you like this. Kabelo Gwamanda says nothing about all of these things that he has been accused of. The truth Panther. Okay, here's the page. So this is the former mayor of Johannesburg, Kabelo Gwamanda, saying that as a black man in South Africa, you have to understand that you might get arrested. This is something that you cannot avoid. I remember yesterday people were saying that we just wonder how long is it going to take before Kabelo Gwamanda starts blaming apartheid, starts talking about his blackness. Apparently, it didn't even take 48 hours before Kabelo Gwamanda goes and says this.
Good afternoon, Johannesburg. This is a very stormy Sunday afternoon. I just wanted to alert the residents to be cautious of the heavy rains that we occasionally experience in the city of Johannesburg, and that you keep very safe.
We're told you were arrested.
Who? You know, in South Africa as a country, growing up black, it's a possibility that none of us can avoid. So regardless of the party choose whether to serve or whether to engage in nefarious activities. The fact of the matter is that the relationship that South Africans have with law enforcement is a relationship that needs to be worked on very strongly so that we understand what each of our roles are in this undertaking. But I'm here at home. I can't swim. There's a storm coming in the city of Johannesburg. Thank you very much.
So Kabelo Gwamanda, he returned, he was given a bail. And the same day, instead of just taking responsibility for what he has been accused of, he goes back to saying that as a black man, this is something that you cannot avoid in this country. You know, I hate this so much. I hate the fact that we have black politicians in this country that are blaming everything on the fact that they are black. This guy has been accused of actually scamming the poor black citizens of Johannesburg. These are the allegations that are leveled against him. So he is not even interested on addressing these allegations that have been leveled against him. But he says, nah, just because I am black and as a black person in South Africa, you have to understand that this is something that you cannot avoid as a black person. And unfortunately, this is a narrative that is going to stick. This is a narrative that is going to stick because there are people right now, they are making the videos, they are saying, no, why is it that when black politicians have committed crimes, it's all over the media, but we don't see anything about the white, like it is already sticking. This thing, it is already sticking. What he's saying, it is already sticking. Whether you can sit there and think that this is insane, how can this guy who has been accused of scamming black people, now he's pretending to be the spokesperson for black people. He's pretending to be a hero amongst black people. But this guy is forgetting that he is being accused of scamming the same black people that he's trying to be a hero of. This is so annoying, man. Like, this is so annoying. It is so annoying, man. Like, seeing these people always playing the victim card, always playing that I am black. You see the black you see these politicians, you see them every day. You see the politicians. Someone would actually be accused of stealing the money that is supposed to build the toilets because children are dying in pit toilets. As soon as that story is all over the media, the first thing that these people are going to say is that, no, just because I am black, I'm being persecuted. This is what Kabelo Gwamanda is basically saying. I am black and I am being persecuted. I am black and I'm being persecuted. I'm black, I'm being persecuted. He says nothing about the victims that thought that he was dead. You know that in the articles, it says that the people who had actually invested into that scheme of his, that Ponzi scheme of his, they thought that he was dead because they were given the impression that the two directors had died. He's one of the directors. People literally thought that this guy was dead. They thought he was dead, only for this guy to appear on television as the mayor of Johannesburg. And people said, no, we are going to lay charges against this guy. We are going to lay charges against this guy. This guy, he stole our money. He took our money and he ran with it. He closed the offices. We could not even go and claim the funeral policy money. When we experienced death in our own homes, we lost our family members and we thought that this funeral policy is going to help us. This is what this person has actually done. This is what this person has actually done. People thought that, okay, we have experienced death in our home, but lucky enough, we were investing in this Itembalama Africa. We are hoping to get the funeral policy money so that we can bury our own in dignity. But this guy moved to the offices. People could not find them. People could not find them. And people, again, were given the impression that he was dead, only for him to come out as the mayor of Johannesburg. Then he has the audacity to stand there to say that, no, just because I am black, I'm being persecuted. This is rubbish. This is rubbish. How can this guy have the audacity to stand there to say that he is black, has been persecuted? What about those black people who are still crying because they lost their money in the Ponzi scheme that he was running, allegedly, in the Ponzi scheme that he was running? What about those people? What about those people? This is rubbish. This is rubbish, and this is something that they use time and time and time and time again, time and time and time and time again, time and time and time and time again, and it is always working. 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 This is the same thing when he was removed as the mayor of Johannesburg because he was clearly incompetent. When he was removed as the mayor of Johannesburg because he was clearly incompetent, what did he say? What did he say when he was removed as the mayor of Johannesburg? He said, no, these people are just gunning for me. These people are just gunning for me because I am a black man and I'm in the position of power, and these people, they don't want to see a black man in the position of power. He says nothing about the fact that he was utterly incompetent, always crying about the fact that he is black, always crying that I am black, I'm a black man, I'm being persecuted, I'm a black man, I'm being persecuted, taking accountability for nothing. Just because you are black, it is okay. As long as you are black, you cannot take accountability for anything. This is what these politicians are trying to tell us. This is what the politicians are trying to tell us. The article came out, it says that Lisufi says that Gwamanda wasn't vetted for the Johannesburg mayorship. I mean, like, you guys actually voted for this guy to be the mayor of Johannesburg. Then you come out to say that this guy was not vetted to be the Johannesburg mayor. Jesus. They say this guy was not vetted to become the mayor of Johannesburg. He was not vetted. He was not vetted. They didn't care. AKA, we don't care about the investigations. We did not vet this guy. AKA, we did not care about the investigations. We didn't care about the FSCA. We didn't care about the residents of Johannesburg that were actually raising alarms about the same guy. We didn't care. The guy was not vetted. He was not vetted. He was not vetted. So they are admitting. AKA, we don't care. This is embarrassing, man. This is embarrassing. But anyway, guys, please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button. And the most important part is subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. It is raining, guys. And please hit the like button, guys. Please hit the like button.